Hey y'all, I'm so excited to be doing this video with you for the March of Dimes. Jeff and I, a couple weeks ago on our YouTube channel, posted an episode about postpartum depression and what we went through. And the March of Dimes saw it, and I'm just gonna further go on with some questions because I'm still getting questions from you all. And also I've had people write me saying that I've helped them and they've made doctor's appointments because they saw my video. So whatever I can do to help anyone out there and get the word out, and just so you know you're not alone and it's not embarrassing to go to a doctor and ask for help. So Jeff's gonna actually just read off some questions. These
right. Yeah, we got some specific questions. If you guys want to go further in detail, check out our YouTube channel, Jeff and Jordan TV. Jordan talks about being scared, embarrassed, goes into detail about. We kind of isolated some specific questions just for people out there that might be going through something like this and not know what's happening. So let's just jump right in here.
Okay.
How long after birth did you start feeling the symptoms?
I knew right away. Right whenever they gave me Lawson. I had him for what? 5 seconds.
But you didn't know it was postpartum depression at that time, right?
No, I don't think I knew exactly it was postpartum depression. I just knew something was off, if that makes sense. They gave me Lawson, and I said, get him off me. And Jeff did the skin to skin. And I remember, it's all a blur. I think I kind of passed back out, and then when I came to, because I had a C-section, with the recovery room, Jeff was holding Lawson and he was just looking at him and smiling and so happy. And I just remember being like, blah.
Do you remember like any specific symptoms that you were going through?
After the hospital, I specifically remember bad anxiety.
Okay.
I cried like just right off the cuff, like everything made me cry. I remember I forgot the diaper bag at the doctor's office, remember? And you're like, how did you forget the diaper bag? And I just started crying because I forgot that. I remember wanting to be alone, isolate myself. I didn't want to be around anyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone. So basically those things.
How about like specific feelings were you going through? Just for like if somebody's watching, they're like, wait, that's what I'm going through, like, or specific thoughts.
It wasn't until, I'd say a couple weeks in, 2 weeks in probably, 3 weeks. And then that's kind of when I was like, the depression just started getting worse. And I think it was because I wasn't talking to anyone. I was isolating myself. And then that was when I felt suicidal. And I was like, I really want to kill myself. And I would go through those things like, Lawson's a boy and he's going to love being with his daddy. Like they don't need a mom. Like he doesn't need a mom. And I would go through things like that. And I was like, it'll be fine if I'm gone because he's got his dad to take care of him and they'll bond on sports and things like that. So that's kind of probably, I would say like 2-3 weeks in. And then I hid it from Jeff for 2 months. And then I went to you, we're like, you better go to the doctor.
Finally, right in December. We talk about it more in depth on the YouTube channel, but I remember specifically that time. Did you have a history of anxiety before this moment?
No,
or before the...
Never had depression, never anxiety. I never was on medicine or anything.
So this is all new, and I want to make clear, she was thinking all these things and didn't tell me, and it came to a boiling point, speaking from my point of view through this whole PPD, that's how you say it, right? Postpartum depression, yeah.
Yes.
Through my experience was I noticed the irritability in her. She was very short with me, she was very short with Lawson, our firstborn, and these are the symptoms that I noticed. I don't know. I knew something was going on, but I had no idea what postpartum depression was.
And I didn't either. To be honest with you, when I would hear people say it, I'm like, oh, they're exaggerating. It's not as bad. And then I experienced it and I was like, whoa, this is real.
So this is the next question. How did your interaction with the world, loved ones, colleagues, etc. change because of postpartum? You kind of explain that a little bit about isolation.
I just would isolate myself. I remember Christmas time, us being at your parents' house.
Great example.
And like more people kept coming over. And I remember I just got really angry and I got very mad. And I was like, oh, I just don't want to be here. And we had been in Charlotte previously. And my brother told my mom when we left, he goes, Jordan's weird. Like she's off. Because Peyton goes, you weren't even really talking to us either. And I remember when all the people were coming over Jeff's parents' house, I remember I was like, I'm just going to go upstairs and do laundry and pack. And I just went upstairs and disappeared. And then I remember his father came upstairs to tell me that the people were leaving. And I was so mad that he came up there to tell me that they were leaving, because the reason why I was up there was to get away from those people, because I just didn't want to be around anyone.
Right, and this was before, again, it was just a couple days after
Right.
that moment that finally, enough was enough, and I have to say, something's going on here. And you
Right.
finally broke down and told me.
Right.
That's what kind of brings to the next question. How did you decide to reach out for support? I think it was that moment in the car before we went shopping.
So Jeff thought, I'll try to sum it up quick.
Yeah.
Jeff thought that I didn't want to be married. He thought I just didn't want a kid. And he was like, you should have told me. We got in this huge fight. Like, if you didn't want to be married. That's what he said. And then I broke down in the car and just started crying. And I was like, I feel like I want to kill myself. And I'm just so depressed. And I want to drive my car in incoming traffic and kill myself. And then that was when everything made sense to him.
And it was, I know it's going to be hard for people out there to understand this, but the weight, at least for me, was lifted. I knew it all clicked. Like,
Right.
oh, this is what's going on. Something happened. I knew a little bit about postpartum depression. Right when she told me that, all like the air just came back into the car or the room, whatever it was. It was a moment of clarity for me. Right away, I'm like, we're calling the doctors. You're telling them everything. I'm going to drag you there if I have to. And you're going to tell them every single thing. I'm going to be in that room when you tell them to make sure you're not like embarrassed or like skipping out on stuff.
Right.
So that was a big moment, I think, that when we came to that head and finally acknowledged it, that's when things started getting better.
Right. And so I went to the doctor, told her how I was feeling. I was embarrassed. I broke down. So they took my blood pressure. They're like, your blood pressure is sky high. And I just told her, I was like, this is how I'm feeling. I feel like killing myself. And I remember her saying, do you want to see a psychologist? Do you want to... She was just giving me options. And I remember getting very defensive because I was like, she thinks I'm crazy. She thinks I'm crazy. That's why she's asking me. And then you start thinking they're going to take my baby away because they think I'm crazy. And I was like, but I don't want to hurt my son. I just want to hurt myself. And she made me feel so comfortable. She was like, Jordan, this is so normal. This happens. I got on medication. And like I said, I would always call it my dark thoughts. And once I got on that medication, the anxiety went away, the depression went away, and I felt more at ease. She told me to get outside, go walk, get out in the sun. I walked
sure did.
all over Santa Monica. I was all over there. I mean, if you live there, you've probably seen me with my stroller. And and then I remember, I think it was like June, I went back to her and I was like, I'm not having those dark thoughts anymore, and I feel better, and I haven't been on medicine since.
And I think her calmness, because again, I was there in the room making sure she went through all the things that she told me. And the doctor was very calm. Jordan,
So calm.
this happens all the time. It's normal. We're going to put you on a very small dose of medication. I forget specifically, but I think it might be different for each person. So you got to ask your doctor.
Right.
But the calmness in her telling me, even, I think both of us, I should say, I think calmed us down. Because right when we left, I remembered, I'm like, I feel so much better. Like, you're going to beat this. It's a little thing. This is very common. It was just the hard part was getting it out to me and people you love.
Right. And because you don't understand it, and you're just like, I can't tell somebody this. They're going to think I'm crazy. And that's how you feel at that time. And then it's almost like once it's out there, it's so refreshing. And then you know you have help, and it's good.
Let's end on this last question here.
Okay.
If you could send a message to other moms going through PPD or depression in general, what would you want them to know?
Not to be embarrassed. Go get help. And me thinking, I was like, I'm just going to keep it in and not tell anybody, and it's going to go away. It's not going to go away. Go to a doctor. Go talk to someone. Talk to your family. Talk to your spouse. Talk to whoever you love and get help. It's not, don't be embarrassed.
I think that's great. I think we're all done here. I think you're helping a lot of people. I know the YouTube channel did. People still reach out to you to this
Yes.
day. So thank you for that on behalf of everyone out there. And I think you're doing a great thing. And I think you're simplifying it, which makes it easier for a lot of people out there going through the same thing.
Yes. So talk about it. Have an open conversation. All right, guys. Thank you. I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions, DM March of Dimes, DM me. I'll gladly talk to you if you need some help.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thanks, love.